Audio. Storyblocks Audio. Storyblocks Audio.
Welcome to the Choose to Change 90-Day Re-Entry Program. If you're a visitor or new to this program, we welcome you and we are glad you are here. Many of us walked into these rooms not sure of what to expect, but many of us stayed because we saw real people with real problems who had real hope. This 90-Day Re-Entry Program is a self-supporting group sponsored by the Choose to Change Foundation. There are no dues or fees to attend a class, but we do encourage donations from our members and to anyone who believes in what we are doing. The only requirement of membership is a sincere desire to change. So if you're ready to change your life, then you are in the right place. Through this program, you will learn the tools and resources to finally change your life forever and a relationship-based support system to keep you going. For many of us, there is no easy way out of the mess we created in our lives, even if it wasn't your fault. Even you, Chavaria. Even you. But the good news is that there is a way out if you would choose to believe in the impossible. My name is Frank Salazar, and it's a pleasure to be here. And let's just get right to it. We'll introduce our mentor, speaker, CEO, founder of the Choose to Change Foundation, Orlando Salinas. I'm sure it's going to be a great one. So let's give him a round of applause. Give him another one. So again. Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. One, two, testing. That's awesome. Good evening. Failure is part of success. I don't like saying that too much because then you go try to fail too much. But failure is part of success. How many times have you failed? So, I know that some of you that may be struggling with things, um, I repeat, there's so many things happening in life, guys. I see so many tragedies, so many heartbreaking situations, children that are fatherless, that have their mother because she's a drug addict. I mean, just crazy stuff. Drug addiction just destroying our lives, selfish living. And we all know this, And everything I teach in here, I was reminded, and I know this. I just wanted to remind you. None of this matters if you don't seek God. You're gonna need God. That's why faith is one of the first ones in this process of change. I have and I'm grateful that each and every one of you are here, and I believe in you. I believe in you. Not because of who you are, but because of who He is. That makes sense? And we can make it. We can make it. It's a fight. We talk about this all the time. It's a fight. And we got to duke it out. And the devil don't pay fair. Since you were born, right? The devil don't play fair. And that's the reality. So let's get started, guys. So I want to welcome everybody here. Thank you for being here tonight. Just want to just a few announcements really quick. Just want to remind you of our events that we're having. We're having a March 9th fundraising event, the chicken plate sale. I did bring the tickets. If anybody wants to help me sell some tickets, we got everything we need already. Thank you, Jesus. And so March 9th, that's the third one on there. On the 21st of this month, when was it? Monday? Was that Monday? The 21st? No. Yesterday. Yesterday. Check this out, guys. Yesterday, I went to the parole office in the morning. Brother here came back to us. That same day, I went from the parole office to the rehab center. I'm going there every month now. So then the reason I'm telling you this is because many of you were there. And that's where it starts, right? And I tell everybody, man, now the work begins. Because living out here and with reality is a whole different monster. Am I right or wrong? Whole different monster. But we're going to see a lot of men coming in here and women. So, and then tomorrow on February 22nd, I'm going back to the rehab and talking to the whole group. So, and people are going to be coming, brother. They're going to be coming. And they're going to need help. And I believe that we can help them. Because when they see Alex, when they see you, Craig, when they see Rudy, when they see you guys, it gives people hope. Do you all realize that? See, you may not think that you're doing much, Raymond. You're just trying to make your life better, right? But see, some people don't believe that's possible. We believe it is. So anyway, and then March 9th, we're having our fundraising event. May 1st, I'm going to the Gib Lewis unit. Go share my story there. May 4th, I'm going to the Gloss Brenner unit again. And then May 25th, I'm going to go do a seminar, a 6-hour seminar in the prison. So Choose a Change is on the move. And we're making an impact. I think people need to hear more and more of what I have to say. Because God has really helped me in my life. And I believe I can help more people to believe for their lives. So we've been going through the 7 major keys of life change. I put this up all the time. These are the 7 keys. The reason I put them up there so that you can write them down if you want to. And we've been talking about this week mindset. And I've been going through a 3-part series on the mind. And I want to jump right into this because this is huge, guys. This is the core. This is what's making you guys struggle so much. The mind. This is your biggest battle. Right, brother? The mind? I'm telling you, it's the mind. So then if I were you, just listen up, guys. This is huge. If you can get this, you just might be able to skyrocket your life change journey, your life. You have to take control of your mind. Because if you don't, somebody else will. Or something else will, like drugs. So we're going to talk about, last week I talked about the understanding why philosophy and mindset, or having the right mindset and the right philosophy is so important. I talked about, how having a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. I talked about that last week. So if you want to watch that, listen to last week's. I wanted to help you understand what mindset was. Today, we're going to go over how the mind works. And this is really, really important for you to understand how the mind works, how to change the mindset, or how to start reprogramming your mind. Because the way we think for many of us is not working for you. So I want to talk about putting on the new man. Putting on the new man. I'm going to read you a scripture out of Ephesians. Ephesians. Who's ever read the book of Ephesians in the Bible? It's a powerful book. You ought to read it a few times. And so the Apostle Paul is talking to the Ephesians, and he's talking about how we are new creations. You all heard that? Well, how do you do that? I remember somebody told me, you're in a new creation now. And I didn't feel new, right? I knew who I was. I knew what I was. But they tell me, you're a new creation. And that's true to a certain extent. But because, well, let's read the scripture. Ephesians 4:20. It said like this. Listen to what it says. Ephesians 4:20. It says, but you have not so learned Christ, if indeed you have heard of him and have been taught by him. That's why we need to come to church, read our Bibles, pray. For truth is in Jesus. But listen closely. He says, and you need to put off concerning your former conduct, the way you used to think, the old man. We need to put it off, which grows corrupt according to deceitful lusts. That's why we get ourselves in a mess, because the old man wants to use drugs. The old man wants to lust. The old man wants to be selfish. So we need to put off the old man. And verse 23 says, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. And that you can put on the new man, which was created according to God in true righteousness and holiness. And that's what we want to talk about today. How do you put on this new man? Y'all ready for this? I told you I've been reading a book called Switch on the Brain. And let me say this. Don't let this go over your head. I'm telling you, I'm teaching you this for a reason. When I first heard about the mindset and changing your mindset, I wasn't too interested in it. It's not what can I call it? It's not fun. What I'm teaching you is not exciting, right? But I'm telling you, this is the key to your life change. Life change takes work. Marriage takes work. A lot of work. So here you go. Here's the first saying. I can change my life because I can change my mind. Why don't you say it with me? Say it with me. I can change my life because I can change my mind. That's how it works. It's if you are to recreate your life, brother, and change your life, then this idea must become a revelation to you. And it became a revelation to me in prison. When I got that revelation that if I just changed the way I think, I could change my mind. And it's hard to understand, so just stick with me. It's hard to understand that concept, that idea, because many of us don't think right. How many of you agree to that? Some of us just don't think right. Not because you don't want to. We're going to see that. Maybe you do want to. But somehow these creepy ideas coming along, and they want to pull you down, want to pull you in. And what you want to say, here's where this, or I'm going to say the enemy, the devil wants to take you to where you say, I don't give no more. That's where he wants to take you. And once you say that, it's over. So the whole premise of Choose to Change is that you can change your life because you can change your mind. So if you didn't know this, then if you don't know this and understand this, then you will always be stuck. And that's why people are stuck. And most people give up when they've gone too far because it gets hard. Has it been easy for you, Raymond? It's been hard. It's been tough. Well, we got to keep on fighting. Here's a couple of quotes for you. You all ready? If you keep doing what you always been doing, y'all know this one? You will keep getting what you always gotten. It just makes sense. In other words, if you don't renew your mind, if you don't start working with this, then nothing's ever going to change. If this is just you come to choose a change and that sounded pretty cool, but you don't worry about it. I'm telling you, this is key. Let me put it another way. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Jim Rohn puts it like this, and I like this one. You can have more than you've got. You know why? Because you can become more. You can be a better man, a better thinker, a better husband, a better leader. You can be a man of integrity. You can be an honest man. Really? An honest man? That's hard to do, right? So if all this is true, what I'm telling you, and it is, that in order to change your life, you must change your mind. Or that in order for you to change, to get something different in your life, you need to start doing something different. That if you have, that in order to have more in life, that you must become more. If all that is true, then the three questions you should be asking yourself are these. How do you change your mind? If what I'm telling you is true, how do you change my mind? The second question is, how do I change what I'm doing? Right? If you're lazy and you keep on being lazy, then nothing's going to be good out of there. And the third question you should be asking yourself is, how can I become more than I am? And those are the questions I want to answer for you today. And if not today, in the next session, because this is the second session. And this is what this session is all about. And actually, this is what Choose to Change is all about. That's why I'm always talking about the mind and how important it is. So let's get into this. So what's going to be better? What's going to better help you understand all this is understanding the two very important parts of the mind. And here's what's going to get good, guys. So get ready for this. We're going to talk about there's a lot of parts to the mind. There's a lot to learn about the mind. There's a lot to understand about the mind. Science is still trying to figure out the mind, but they know a lot. We know a lot about the mind. But the two things I want you to understand today in this session and probably the next week is if you just could understand these two parts, just these two parts, you're going to be able to go, you'll be way ahead of the game. And that is the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And some of you that's heard this before, for many of you, it's going to be a rehearsal, a reminder, right? And this is really, really huge. I want to talk to you about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. That's huge. So let's start with the conscious mind. Let me show you. Can you put that picture up, brother? The conscious mind. I'm going to take all this off so that I can explain this, because this is it right here, man. When I understood this, I'm telling you, I was wired up. I said, I'm going to change my life. I'm serious. When I learned this, it just blew me away. You have your mind. 10% of it is your conscious mind. 90% of it is your subconscious. Can you tell me what's the difference? Tell me what's the difference? What's the two? Want to give it a try? Anybody? Craig, tell me what's the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind?
Well, to kind of put it simply, the
Yes.
conscious mind is what you think. The subconscious is what you really believe and act on in your life.
Yeah, that's true. So what he's saying is, let's talk about the conscious mind, which is 10% of your mind. These are the two parts I want you to understand. The conscious mind is about 10 to 15% of your mind. As you can see it up there. This is the part of the mind that you're using right now. What do I mean by that? You're seeing me. You're listening to me. Your conscience, right? When somebody faints, what do we say? They're what? Unconscious. They're not there. But when you're awake, you're conscious. Estás consciente. Estás aquí conmigo. Pero ¿qué pasa en veces? What happens sometimes? Your mind wanders, right? It wanders all the time. That's why I always try to catch your attention. Because te vas en un viaje. And guess where you're going? I'm going to tell you where. So your subconscious mind. And so estás así todo el tiempo. So you need to take control. Learn to... Have you ever heard somebody tell you, you need to focus? Who's heard that? That's what they're trying to tell you, because you need to focus, because your mind automatically it's just moving. So then your conscious mind is what you're using right now. This is where what you hear with, what you see with, what you feel with, todo eso. Estás despierto, you're alive. It's a conscious mind. It's the critical thinking. When you're thinking, you're thinking. Your logical thinking, short-term memory, willpower. That's the big one. Willpower. Keep that one in mind. This is the one that makes you, you use your pride. Aquí, you're a macho man. You can take the world. Kind of like when you were drinking, you took a few drinks and you thought you were Superman, right? That's where you try to stop using. You try to stop drinking, stop doing this. You're saying, this time I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You're trying to use willpower. And let me tell you something about willpower. Willpower will always bow its knee to the subconscious. Willpower will always bow its knee to the subconscious. And ahorita you'll understand why that is. But y'all got that? The conscious mind is everything you see and hear. This is the part of the brain that you're using. Y'all with me? Does anybody have any question about that? This is your mind. This is your mind. Or your brain. And it has two parts. Conscious mind and subconscious. So, now let's talk about the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what we call the storehouse. This is where a lot of stuff is happening in the subconscious, good and bad. This is where you have your beliefs, tus creencias. It's all in there. Your creativity, your developmental stages. When you were growing up, Raymond, me and you have talked. I know a little bit about your past. Well, no, everything that's in your mind that you have, that you've told me, it's in there. And that's why when you remember, it hurts. Because it's there. And you may not thinking about it, estás trabajando y you're doing this and you're doing that. You're not thinking about it, but it's there. And so what happened? We're talking and you're telling me and it's hurting you. You start crying because it's real. It's in the subconscious. That's where we store all the pain and the hurt and the regret. That's where we store it right there. That's where, look at that. About the fifth one, habits and addictions. This is why it's so hard to stop using cocaine, drinking, pornography, because it's engraved. And listen, I'm giving you this simple understanding. You start reading about this stuff and it's like about neuroscience, it's crazy. But understand that this part of the brain, the subconscious brain, and let me just tell you the kicker here, the bottom line, is that's the part of the brain that we need to reprogram. And they work together, the subconscious and the conscious, but that subconscious, the stuff that you have deep inside, the belief systems, like the hurt and the pain and the regret, that's why we need Jesus. Because only forgiveness. Listen, let me help you understand what I mean by that's why we need Jesus. You know, I went to prison. You just think about all the messed up things that you did. For me, it was, my daughter's birthday. Robbing the store for one more hit on my daughter's birthday. That's just one thing. One of the things that I did. And, once you're in jail, once you messed up, there's nothing you can do. The mistakes you made, there's nothing you can do. It's over. And nothing can heal that except forgiveness. And I remember, listen, this is huge. Listen to me. And I remember, because I always say this, I remember just when I heard my little girl, Daddy, today was my birthday. And you weren't here. Are you coming now? I'm in prison. I'm hopeless. I just wanted to kill my worthless self because there was nothing I could do. And it hurts with everything inside of me, and there's nothing you can do. How do you change that? You can't rewind. And unless God's grace and forgiveness, unless you accept that, then you're going to go crazy or kill your worthless self. That's it. Unless you accept God's grace and forgiveness for your sin, for your wickedness, for your selfishness, you're not going to make it. This is why desire is so important. Because you got to get to that prodigal son moment, to that choose to change moment, right? And many of us have to go back there. It's called repentance. And ask God to help you because and so for me, when I realized for the first time, wow, that's why Jesus Christ died on the cross. So that I could receive forgiveness of sin. I didn't realize how much I needed forgiveness because no high-priced attorney could change it. My judge couldn't help me. My mother couldn't help me. My sister couldn't help me. My wife couldn't help me. Nobody could change that. How many of you done something that nobody could change? Nobody can change it. That's why we need God. And it's in that subconscious. See, this is where all this stuff happens. See, for me, I get excited about this stuff because I understand it now. I get it. And as long as I keep changing the way my program mind was, it's going to keep getting better. So that's the key to changing your subconscious is full of voices. Right? Voices that say you're a loser. Voices that say you'll never make it. Voices that say you messed up too much already. Voices that say your marriage will never get better. Voices that say you're not going to make it. Give up. Who knows those voices? I'm telling you, this is the subconscious. And it's and this is how it works. There's a doctor named Dr. Lipton. He says your life is simply an expression of your programming in your subconscious. He says 80 to 95% of your life comes from the subconscious. How many times did you say, why did I do that again? Why do I keep on going to that? I'm telling you, because you're programmed to. Any questions up to right here? Do you all understand what I'm saying? No questions? Hugo.
I guess it's kind of like a question and comment at the same time
Mhm.
because I know that I didn't realize, right, because some of my thoughts were like I can't accept somebody telling me that I am supposed to live a certain way because I want to live
Your way.
the way that I can to better my own life, right?
Right.
And does it take so like you said, it takes failure sometimes, right? It takes failure to sometimes realize that we need some kind of advice or someone to put the example. And then some of us, I guess, do we need to meet that dead end? And sometimes it's gonna be no way out of that situation. I guess I could say.
I don't understand the question.
So some of us, I guess, so it's gonna be at some point that maybe there's no way out of the situation, and that's the only time we'll realize we need to change.
Yes, for some of us, there's a so change and coming to that choose a change moment or that prodigal son moment comes only through two ways. Who knows them? It only comes through two ways: inspiration or desperation. That's it. You're gonna bow your knee to Jesus Christ either through inspiration. You hear a story, you hear a sermon. I mean, and you're in church. You didn't think about getting saved. You didn't want to give your life to Christ. You weren't thinking of changing your life, but you heard a sermon, a song, and you get inspired, and you repented, and then you started your life change journey. Or on the other hand, like many of us did, right? Like I did, you came through desperation. You messed up your life. You messed up again. And you're like, and this is a hard place to be in the desperate part when you mess up again. This is a hard place to be, brother. I understand that because you have regret, you have shame, you have, nowhere else to go. And so your pride wants to get involved and, I have to change. We all go through that. All of us. Because we don't want to change. Because we're stuck in the subconscious. We don't want nobody to tell us what to do. Because we're stuck in the subconscious. You're so used to doing whatever the hell you want. Am I right or wrong? That's the problem. And you're going to learn in here what the real problem is. I'm just telling you, I'll just go off course if I start. But this is how you change your mind. This is how you change your life. So, again, if what I'm telling you is true, and it is, if you are to change your life, you're going to have to renew or start reprogramming your subconscious. What do I mean by that? Your belief systems. The first one, it says beliefs. You see where it says beliefs? You have to start changing those. Your beliefs about yourself, beliefs about God, beliefs about who you are. Pastor Jeremy shared a powerful message on perspective and looking how you see yourself. In other words, for many of us, for many of us, like me, let me tell you, me, I consider myself a cockroach, no good, a loser, That's who I. That's it. That was engraved in my mind because of what I did, because of what I used to do, because I was a loser drug addict, a loser father, a loser husband. That was engraved in me. You're just a loser. And this is the hard part. And I had to force myself. This is where believing in the impossible came. I forced myself to believe that I could be something, that I could achieve something, that I could change. I literally forced myself, brother. I remember crying in a prison cell in my bunk at night. This is what I was feeling. This is where all that is in the subconscious. And you have to, because the pull of the world, the pull of the drugs, the pull of pornography, the pull of alcohol is so strong. There's, and and we don't get it. You think you can play with this? You can't play with this. It doesn't work. In fact, this is why I started choose to change. Because I wanted to go into the prison and challenge you. Because nobody's challenging us. Because the rehab is not going to challenge you. It's going to baby you. Who's challenging you to snap out? And I'm trying to help you snap out of it. Whether it's good or bad. And that's what it takes. I have to force myself to believe that I could change. And all these emotions and thoughts and I don't want to change, I want to change. It's all there. Because we're not used to it. Not used to it. I remember I haven't cussed in years. But I remember I couldn't stop. Right? Many of you probably can't still stop. Why? Because we're so used to it. We're so used to reacting a certain way. We're so used to feeling a certain way. We're so used to being offended. We're so used to it. What I'm trying to help you understand is we can change. When I was speaking at the rehab center, afterwards I was talking to the counselors there, and one of the ladies said, "Man, you have a really good way of speaking," and she was complimenting the way I was speaking. And I said to myself, "Wow, that's interesting." I said, "Well, you should have heard me 27 years ago. I was a vato loco forever. Man, I like what Pastor said on Sunday. How he used to talk. And yes, y'all remember? Some of you still talk that way. I don't want to talk that way. I don't want to be a vato loco forever. That's not me. I don't want that. It doesn't even make sense. I want to change. So let's talk about how you change the mindset. 5-step process. And we'll close. It's a 5-step process. And if you're not doing this, then you're not changing. That's a huge, I said something big there. If you're not doing this, you're not changing. And this is where the work is. Number one, the first step to this process is you need to start protecting your mind. It already has a bunch of filth in it already. Okay? There's a lot of good stuff in the subconscious too. But it's the bad stuff that's getting you. You have a lot of good memories, right? But it's the bad ones that get you. The bad habits that get you. So you need to start protecting your mind. What do I mean by that? Because the way your subconscious has been programmed is through your eyes, through your ears, through what you feel. That's how you've been programmed already. Remember, we're trying to reprogram. So now we have to go through the same process. But first, you have to stop the junk. Really simple example. If you're watching pornography, you're not changing your life. It's going to mess you up. No matter how good of a person you are, it doesn't matter. It's going to mess you up. Period. You have to stop it. Is it always a temptation? Of course it is. We're men. Welcome to the fight. But you have to stop it. You have to stop the junk. You have to stop the gangster cop killing rap. You got to stop it. What kind of great life are you going to get listening to Tupac? And I don't even know a song from Tupac. I just know he's a rapper. Or Snoop Dogg. I said Snoop Dogg. He's a cool dude, I know. I like him too. But we can't be putting that junk in our minds, man. You got to stop the junk. Stop it. Hey, normal people, you know why normal people are crazy too? Because they watch novelas. That's called junk too, for a better word, for lack of a better word. And the reason it's junk is because it doesn't look bad. It's not, it's programming you to feel a certain way. This is programming you. Todos estamos adictados ahí. Todos. Todos. We're addicted. And I understand. We look at funny stuff too. I look at things too. But I'm also conscious. So then the point is, what are you putting in? That's the point. You have to protect your mind. Which is the hardest thing to do, but that's where it's at, guys. It's called discipline. It's part of the fruits of the Spirit. Self-control. Remember, we're talking about how to change your life. And the way you change your life is you change your mind. That's how you put on the new man. So you all got that one? What is the second thing you need to do? Now you have to start feeding your mind, which is what we're doing here. We have to feed. See, what you eat, one of the things that they told me about, I'm really trying to keep my weight down, but wow, man, but I'm pretty good considering. Pero I always ask people, so what do you need to do? What do you need to do? And I always heard this, and I thought maybe they're just believing that because we hit on it's 80% what you eat and 20% exercise. Isn't that what it is, más o menos? 80%. In other words, it's more important what you eat when it comes to better health. It's 80% of good health is what you eat. 80% of changing your life is what you're eating. What you're eating in your mind, in your heart. What you're eating. So you have to start feeding so how do you feed? You read your Bible. Why do you think when you do the 90-day challenge, which is, by the way, if you guys don't know, I have a 90-day challenge. I don't know if I told you, Rudy. Yeah, you did. You did sign it. The 90-day challenge. The first thing I ask you to do is read Proverbs every day. Because I'm trying to help you start feeding your mind. There's a lot of good stuff here. I listen to books. I listen to YouTube videos. I listen to podcasts. There's a lot of powerful stuff here. A lot of stuff. This thing is powerful. But it's a two-edged sword. It could either cut you or defend you. So you have to start feeding your mind. The Bible puts it like this: finally, my brother, whatever things are true, whatever things are honest, whatever things are true, whatever things are pure, whatever things of a good report, he says, whatever, think on these things. So I'm not just telling you that, it's biblical. Remember, we're talking about renewing the subconscious. The third thing, so first you protect, then you feed. And the third thing is you need to start doing is getting involved. This is why coming to church is so important. Most people that don't get involved don't make it. Most people who don't get involved don't make it. You need to get involved. What do I mean by that? Coming to church, the more you begin to learn to serve others, because really the church, when you come to Christ, your mindset should be not what can God give me? Your mindset should be what can I give God? What can I do? See, that's a different mindset, right? You're changing the way you think. Because we're used to, estamos como el asadón, ¿verdad? That's what we're used to. Todo para acá. That's how we are. We're selfish people. We don't know how to give. Well, part of getting involved is learning to serve. Being involved. Just coming to church. You start by just coming to church. Being faithful. Remember, I don't have time to explain how important that is, but that's super important. Because getting involved and coming to church, coming to choose a change, you start building relationships. You start building common strength in numbers. Because what happens? We mess up and we isolate. That's what we do. We isolate. As soon as someone starts coming, I already know. It's not rocket science. It's really easy to see. Why? Because you never got involved. Remember, we're talking about changing your life. Told you it wasn't going to be easy. What's the fourth one? Which is what I just said. The fourth one is friends and associations. There's some people that you haven't cut off. Some people you need to get off your phone. Some people, and so this is for drug addicts. This is really common. You know, you have that certain person here, just in case. That certain friend, just in case. It's called reservations. So you have to start building new relationships. And I teach a lot on this, on relationships, because 95% of your success or failure will depend on your friends. 95% of your success or failure will depend on your friends. Zig Ziglar says if you want to fly with the eagles, you've got to stop scratching with the turkeys. And the last one is prayer. Talking to God, man. More and more, I've developed a stronger prayer life, and just the action of it alone is huge. It's taking time. You know, for us as leaders in the church, we come to the prayer room every morning. That's what I do every morning. At least 4 or 5 times a week. But I committed to coming every day. And I come to the prayer room and 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I've been doing this for years. I've developed a habit. Do I feel like coming every day? No. I don't. You're not going to feel like doing this stuff, I'm telling you. We're used to going by our feelings. We don't go to work because we feel like it all the time, right? I don't feel like going to work all the time. Although I like to work, I do like to work. I went from being an alcoholic to a workaholic, but that's better than being a loser drug addict. But prayer, and that's how you change your subconscious. It's a lot of work, man. It is. I've been at this for 27 years, and I don't know when it happened, but this is what's going to happen, guys. If you do what I'm telling you to do, what's going to happen is you're gonna 2-3 years are gonna pass, and you're gonna realize, wow, I've changed. Then 4, 5, 6, 7 years pass, and you're gonna realize, wow, you're gonna see your friends. 10 years are gonna pass, and you're gonna realize, wow, just by doing these simple things. Look at the friends I have. Look at what happened. Look at what God has done. And I look back 27 years. And right before we got here, my wife was listening to some music. ¿Cómo se llama la song esa? Looks like we made it. Shania Twain, ¿o cómo se llama? ¿Eh? So what I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 27 years, men. I've been married to my wife 34 years this year, 35 years this year. And it's not has been easy for her. That's the truth. It's been crazy. Right? But in the last 20 years, I kept doing what I'm doing, what I'm telling you, and it just getting better and better. Has there been pitfalls? Yes. Failures? Yes. But you get up. I'm going to the top. I'm going to the top. And that's how I've done it. And I'm going to keep on doing it because it just keeps getting better and better. Does anybody have any questions as we close now? I'm going to pass around the donation bucket, guys. Anybody has anything to say? Frank? Oh, no? Oh, I thought that's why you got the mic. Does anybody have any questions? Did anybody learn anything? Get the mic.
Last step on number 5 with the steps process.
It was prayer.
It was prayer.
Prayer.
Appreciate that.
That was a 5-step process to renewing your mind. That's what that was. That is a 5-step process to renewing your mind. And I came up with that process because that's what I simply started doing. And I realized, okay, what did I do? What did I do? And after all my reading and stuff, I realized, okay, this is what I did. And this is what I did. And I still do it today. So I remind myself. When that pops up in my feed, gotta remind myself. I have to remind myself. That's how it works, guys. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Frank.
So I want to add to what Hugo was saying that sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. But another thing to look at is you can look at examples here, like you are always a constant example, like, oh, this is what I used to do. So we can look at people here like, hey, I don't want to go down that route, so I'm gonna stay away. So you can use the people here as examples, so you don't have to hit rock bottom. You can stop that before you get to that place.
Yep, you can. And so just want to take a moment to remind you guys that when it comes to giving, you could always, oh, go ahead, Hugo.
I can finish and I'll get mentioned afterwards. I'll just mention when you're.
Yeah, that when it comes to giving, you can always go online. I know there's a lot of people watch after they go watch this. So if you're watching this online, the best way you can help us is just become a monthly donor. $5, $10, $20 a month. That is what really helps it a lot. Because going into the prisons is what costs. Like, because I'm going to start going to the units in Dallas and Houston, and that's what cost. And so then, if you guys believe in it, if those of you watching believe in what we're doing, please consider giving and supporting this. Those of you watching, I know you can't see here, but there's about 10 men here 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 11 men here. And a lot of these men have been coming for months and years. And we're still here and we're still doing it. I'm going to keep on doing this. So if those watching, you believe in what we're doing, consider supporting the Choose the Change Foundation by, number one, following us, and number two, giving, or even considering becoming a monthly donor. So thank you, guys. That's all I have. Hugo, you had a question.
No, I've just got the comment where I remember what you had mentioned also that if your why has to be greater, right?
Yes.
Why you want to change, and I remember that you had said that sometimes you might not want to do it for yourself, but if you're like in a situation like in a metaphorically, if you had to cross a building and with a plank, right?
Yeah.
You didn't. You wouldn't do it for yourself, but what if somebody you really love was on the other side?
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, that's something you would do without
Mhm.
hesitation.
Like I did it for my family. I did it, first I said, I don't want to be a loser no more. First you do it for yourself, but then you find a purpose. Well, why do I want to do it? Well, I want to be a better father. I want to be a better leader. I want to be a preacher. I want to be a father. I want to be I don't want to, you see, you find a purpose. You find a reason.
And the other analogy was like inside of us is like two dogs, right? And one is the vicious dog that you're gonna keep on feeding, or you're gonna feed the good dog. So which ones are you gonna feed? Because that's the dog's gonna get bigger in the fight inside of you, of course, right?
Yep. That's how it works. The one you feed the most is the one that's always going to win. So thank you for coming, guys. We'll see you next week. Same time.